What is going on, people? Welcome to Rio's Positive POV, where today, phone is in hand, Letterboxd app is open, and I'm going to be giving you guys a rundown of the 16 films that I saw at London Film Festival and ranking them from worst to best. This is not going to be a video full of information about these films. I'm just pretty much telling you what I rated them, where I ranked them, and then potentially a small bit of information, but very, very minute, as the top 9 of these will be getting reviews on this channel or have already had reviews on this channel. So let's start with the worst film of the bunch. And yeah, the worst film of the bunch, ladies and gentlemen, was Foe, a film starring Paul Mescal and Saoirse Ronan. So going into this, I expected a lot better than we've got. This film didn't know when to end. It just kept on going on, and really treated its audience like 5-year-old children. So a 1-star rating for Garth Davis's Foe. Then at number 15, we have a film which I wanted to be the surprise film at London Film Festival. A film I paid £20 to watch, no less. It is Michael Mann's Ferrari, which stars Adam Driver as Enzo Ferrari. And yeah, it just wasn't very good. Aside from the racing scenes, yeah, one of the dummies looked really bad. But aside from the racing scenes and a tiny bit of the acting from one of the actresses, this film is pretty dull, pretty boring. And yeah, I didn't find it interesting at all. So at number 15, we have Ferrari. 14, sorry, Ferrari was 2-star rating, by the way. 2-star rating. 14, we have Chris Pine and his directorial debut that he also stars in, that he also, I believe, wrote, called Pullman. This film I watched after a film which is coming up very later on in this ranking. A very deep film, a very heavy film. And Pullman, I gave it 2.5 stars, but I think that's primarily an extra 1.5 star maybe, just for the people that I was sitting with and the fact that I needed a laugh. So some of the dumbest things I was finding funny. Pullman, 2.5 stars. Number 13 is Bradley Cooper, starring and directing Maestro, a biopic about Leonard Bernstein, which also stars Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan is fantastic in this role. Probably will get an Oscar nomination for her performance, deservedly so. She should be the only thing getting an Oscar nomination for this film, though. I do feel like everything was hammed up to the extreme. And yeah, it was a little bit OTT for me. Not a terrible movie, but yeah, a little bit OTT. Maestro, 3 stars, and that is my 13th film on the list. Number 12, and even though I gave this a 7 out of 10, 3.5 star rating for me, out of 5 on the old Letterboxd, it's one that I had so much more expectations for, and that is The Killer, which is directed by David Fincher and stars Michael Fassbender. There wasn't enough violence for me. A couple of decisions that the killer made by the end of the film just didn't sit right with me and didn't make sense, just based on the narrative and kind of what I was shown from the character on screen. So direction was flawless, though. I thought the direction was fantastic. It was visually brilliant, as most Fincher films are. I just didn't resonate as much with the story as well. So in the end, I gave that one a 3.5 stars. Number 11, the closing film. Whoa, bloody hell. Number 11, the closing film of London Film Festival. Bloopers are allowed in this video. I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to leave that in. But number 11, The Kitchen, the film which is co-written and co-directed by Daniel Kaluuya, Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya, which stars Kano and Jediah Bannerman, who is a new actor. Look, I loved Kano in Top Boy. Fantastic actor. Really good here again, but it's the newcomer, Jediah, who is the star of the show. This film, very authentic, very London. The soundtrack was full of bangers, had me bopping my head the whole time. There is one tune which I just can't find, and when that soundtrack comes out, I'm going to be pumping that per time. But The Kitchen, for me, it had two different kind of stories kind of intertwining, and I don't feel like they meshed as well as they were meant to. Some interesting ideas, all about gentrification in London, which, of course, anyone who lives in London or lives in kind of council estates and areas like that will know that this is going on to this day, and it's been going on for years in these kind of areas. So definitely a message which needs to be told. I just don't feel like it fully committed to that message enough, and was intertwining with two different stories which didn't quite work as good as they could have. I feel like a couple of rewrites in this film would have been in a much better place, but still a very decent first film from Kaluuya. The next film, number 10, is The Bike Riders. This film here stars Tom Hardy, it stars Austin Butler and Jodie Comer, and visually it was a really, really good movie. I like the visuals of it. It basically focused on a 60s biker gang before kind of drugs and crime took control of these biker gangs. Austin Butler, effortlessly cool. He is a movie star, ladies and gentlemen. He is a movie star. Tom Hardy was brilliant. Jodie Comer was decent in the film, not her best by any stretch of the means. But yeah, the cast was really good. It didn't do a ton for me thematically. But yeah, a decent watch. It was definitely one of the more enjoyable films that I've seen at the festival. And that was a 7 out of 10 as well. 3.5 stars, Letterboxd rating. Now, every film from here on out, I gave 4 stars or above. So these are all the films which will be getting YouTube reviews in the upcoming weeks. One of them will be until December because I've been asked by the PR company to hold off. And that is the next film on my list, The Boy and the Heron, which is a Studio Ghibli film. Hayao Miyazaki is back. This film, initially, when I came out of the screening, I wasn't as high up on it as others were. But as I sat on it and as I kind of went through my days after the other films in the festival, I started to really appreciate the narrative, the coronation between Hayao Miyazaki himself and the story that was being told. The visuals, as they always are in the Ghibli films, magnificent. The soundtrack, the score, fantastic. The voice acting, magnificent. Looking forward to watching the English dub and seeing how that kind of differentiates from the Japanese dub, because Japanese dub, the Japanese language version. Because normally I much prefer the subbed versions. Just feel so much more authentic to the story being told and the area which the films are set in. So, The Boy and the Heron, I will be getting a review out, but that one will be coming in December, closer to the UK release, which I believe is Boxing Day, because, yeah, just going to keep it until then to help the PR company get a bit of promo for their film when the film is coming out. The next film on my list, number 8, is a film which stars Peter Sarsgaard and my favourite actress, Jessica Chastain. It is a film called Memory. It is a film which had a lot of hard-hitting story beats. It had some emotional moments. Skarsgård won an award, I think in Venice it was, Best Actor, which I'm a bit perplexed about, to be perfectly honest. He's good in the film, decent enough, but nothing in this film from him kind of screamed award level kind of performance. Jessica Chastain is really good in the film. Is it her best work? No. I don't think the story allowed it to be her best work. There wasn't enough emotional kind of moments for her to really just go at it. Yes, of course, if you know this story and some of the things that happened to this woman and a lot of the kind of narrative, then yes, there are some emotional scenes, but nothing that gave her the opportunity to really kind of go at her performance. Okay, number 7, we have Wim Wenders and his film Perfect Days. So I just want to get the name of the actor up for this one, because I really do feel like he needs to be given some love, because Perfect Days for me was a 4-star film. It was a really slow burn of a film, but just such a good watch. So bear with me a moment, please, as I get this up of his name, because he needs some credit. But look, visually, this film was really good. And again, another banging soundtrack. Like, The soundtracks and the scores at London Film Festival for me was one of the highlights because so many films had just magnificent music to it. So me, big fan of the music, but Koji Yakuso, he was the man who deserved to get the award probably in Venice for Best Actor. My best lead performance of the year, I would say. Good film, really solid. A slow burn. It was very similar to the #1 movie on the Sight and Sound list, Jean Delman, in that kind of way. It was just about a person's day-to-day life. It was very slow burn, but just come out of there, just felt so relaxed. It's such a brilliant movie. 4 stars, 8 out of 10 for me. Now, we are getting on to the top of the list. And yeah, so the next film is the Saltburn. The Saltburn. It is Saltburn, Emerald Fennell's sophomore film. And yeah, so basically this film I gave 4 stars. I have made a review that's going to be coming out shortly after this video releases. So watch out for that one where I give full in-depth knowledge about my thoughts. Jacob Elordi. Wow, man. I didn't think he was that good of an actor. Based off Euphoria, I just thought he was some cocky American kid that pulled off that role in that show. But no, he's actually Australian and does a posh English performance here from the voice, just the way he holds himself. Everything about his performance is so bloody good. Barry Keoghan is decent in the film. Performance-wise, really good. His Scouse accent a little bit up and down for me. I can't put him in that top level when it comes to award-level performances for the year. Emerald Fennell, I feel like this is a better film than Pretty Young Woman. Promising Young Woman. Definitely a film which people should go check out when it comes out. And again, a review will follow. Now, we're into the top 5. And the 5th film on my list is Richard Linklater and his film Hitman, which was the first film that I seen at the festival and was actually a pre-festival screening. I found the film hilarious. I thought Glenn Powell was absolutely magnificent in the role and the many roles. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but wow, man, this is a very funny film and was a great way to start the festival for me. It really had me in high spirits going into the festival and is one that I think people are going to absolutely love when it comes out. I believe it's coming out on Netflix, which is quite a shame because it gets so many laughs in the cinema. It's a very cinematic experience, not based on the visuals, but just based on the vibes you get from watching this film with a crowd. It's very funny, extremely smart, and extremely sexy. Both the leads give off mass sex appeal in this film. And I gave that 4.5 stars. I just found it to be such an enjoyable watch. And I didn't have much critique for it, apart from the ending. I still feel like it ended on a bit of a weird note that I personally would have went my way. And based on everything that happened before in the film, it finished a little bit too... I don't want to spoil it, but it just didn't finish in the way that I expected or wanted it to, should I say. Now, number 4, we have not just a festival debut, but a directorial debut from Molly Manning Walker. It is How to Have Sex, which is 4.5 stars, absolute banger, authentic film, brilliant performances. The review is actually out right now, so click up and you can hear my full thoughts regarding this one straight away. So on to the next one. Top 3 selected, yeah? These are the top 3 films on the festival, all of 5-star bangers, and all could have potentially... No, well, that's a lie. The next 2 kind of could swap places depending on the day and how I feel. But for argument's sake, for ranking's sake, number 3, I have Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things, which stars Emma Stone, features Mark Ruffalo, William Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, and the film is just so bloody good on so many levels, right? 5-star banger. The production design, the cinematography, and Emma Stone, for me, are the 3 highlights of this film. Just unbelievable, spectacular stuff. But everything about this film is simply unbelievable. And yeah, man, it's just such a good watch. Again, I don't want to get into too much details with these films because I want you all to go and check them out when they come out and not be spoiled by expectations or just too much information. So go check out Poor Things when it comes out. I believe it comes out within the next couple of weeks. So you don't have long to wait, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to love it. I think people are going to really dig this film from Yorgos. It is definitely an accessible film. I think it's about 3 hours runtime and it flies by, yeah? Flies by. Now, the runner-up, my second favourite film of London Film Festival, and it is Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. So, this review is also out. Click the link above and you can check out the review to get my full thoughts. But let's just talk quickly about Lily Bloody Gladstone, who for me is the star of the show here. Unbelievable performance, my favourite performance of the year. Let's also talk about Thelma Shoemaker, the editor of the film and Martin Scorsese's trusted right hand. Wow, the editing here, flawless. The 3 hour runtime doesn't feel like anything. This is why I'm quietly, well, not quietly because I'm talking about it a lot on Twitter. If you follow me there, you'll know. People moaning about the 3 hour runtime. I find it insane. I felt this film flew by. But then again, I'm a big fan of Scorsese and Thelma's work, and I was really looking forward to this one. So maybe that comes into my thoughts and feelings regarding the runtime. But Thelma, big up. Lily Gladstone, big up. That Oscar is coming your way soonish. Now, let's talk about the best film on the festival, and one that I will be releasing a review for within the next 7 to 10 days. And it is Jonathan Glazer's, I'm going to call it a masterpiece. Yeah, I'm going to go out there and just call this a masterpiece. It is The Zone of Interest. The juxtaposition in this film is probably the best I've ever seen on film, visually and audioly. Audioly? I don't even know if that's a word, do not care. But the audio and the visuals, the juxtaposition that is created in this film is so sick. Sandra Hüller should be getting nominated for a Best Academy Award. Best Academy Award? That doesn't make any sense. There is going to be some rambling in this video, and I'm not cutting any of it out. Mistakes happen. But Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, Sandra Hüller, I feel like she's the best supporting actress that I've seen so far. A couple of months ago, might change my mind. But right now, she has my vote. And then, yeah, Best International Feature. I feel like this is just going to take that award easily. And I would also give it Best Picture. Give it all the awards. It is a disgusting, soul-destroying watch. It's a masterclass in filmmaking. It's a film I don't feel like I'm going to rush to watch again anytime soon just because of the subject matter and how deep it goes. But best film of the festival, best film of the year, and one which everyone should definitely go check out when it comes out. December for the US, gang. January, February for Europe. Yeah, I will be reviewing that one, full detailed review, giving my full thoughts, more information in regards to what I just spoke about. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my ranking of London Film Festival. And again, if you've stuck around, big up yourself. Mistakes are made. I made a few mistakes in this video. I don't care. I'm not cutting them out. We're keeping it real. We're keeping it 100%. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.